Hi and welcome back to, I don't even know what episode I'm on. Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Tech Try While Your Nails Dry. What we want to look at with our Tech Try While Your Nails Dry tutorials are pieces of tech integration that either make you more efficient or make your lessons more engaging for kiddos. But we try to do them in really small chunks. And so my vow to you is that I'll never give you something that you can't digest in longer than it takes for my new nail coat polish to dry. So we're going to do the same thing today. So what we're going to look at today is playing around with links, okay? So you have links all over the place. Whenever you're on a site and you click to go somewhere else, you're using a link. And a lot of times we get good at producing and using our drive, producing documents. But when it comes to actually getting those documents out beyond sharing, sometimes we get lost in the shuffle. Where do I get the link for any piece that I develop in Google Drive? Where do I get the link from any site that I'm on? How can I create a clickable link? How can I make my links more manageable? So we're going to look at all of those tips today in our tutorial, episode 7. And while you look at my objectives, I'll be painting my nails. Here is the color for today, kind of a shimmery metallic color. Welcome back. We are fully painted and ready to roll on this tutorial. So again, what we're going to be looking at is how to manage the URL, the links that are with each individual Google document or any other website that you are working with, and what's the best way to get them, what's the best way to present them to other people for consumption. You want them to get to your link, so how do you get them the link? That's our goal for today. So I can right click any item in my drive and I can go to the get shareable link option in the drop down menu. And when that comes on, first of all, it's going to turn on link sharing. So make sure that you really do want that shared. But then here is the URL or the link for that particular item. So I'm actually going to hit my Control C, which is my keyboard shortcut for copy, and now that's copied onto my clipboard, my imaginary web clipboard, and I'm ready to use that link or that URL however I want to get it out to people. The other thing that you can do is for any item that you would create, in this case I'm going to create a Google Doc. It's going to open it up for me. And if you notice up here at the top, there is a URL. So it's almost like every document that you create in Google Drive is almost like its own little website, if you want to think about it that way. Each one has a URL. And so here it is up here. So I could also use my keyboard shortcut, Control C, or I could right click and copy. And that is also now on my web clipboard. So again, that's how you can get the link for the thing that you want to share, whether it's something that you've created or maybe it's a web resource or something out there. And now we're going to look at how you would get that link out to people. So the first thing I want to show you is how to create a link. Okay, so let's pretend that this Google document that I'm on right now is actually an email that I want to send to someone. So dear so-and-so, here is that great resource I was telling you about. Okay, so there is a big difference between having a nice link, which I'm going to show you how to do, and this, which is just me pasting that link right in there. So that link, when I copied it, was on my clipboard, and all I did there was Control V, or you could right click and paste, and it's in there. It's a usable link, but it's not really pretty. So instead of just pasting that whole long link in there, what I could do is I could create a really nice looking link within my text that I'm typing. So this is what that looks like. I'm going to highlight a couple of the keywords here. Great resource, right? Because I'm going to point them towards this great resource. And I'm going to use this insert link button in my menu bar. You're going to see this button on a lot of different applications. It's a pretty universal sign for creating a link. If you see one that with a line through it, it means taking out the link. You'll see this in a lot of your email platforms, a lot of your different sharing options, and certainly within Google Docs. So I'm going to click on that button, and it's going to tell me that the text for my link will be great resource, which is what I had highlighted, and then it's going to give me a place to paste my link. So I'm going to do Control V again. Again, you could have right-clicked and pasted, and it's going to put that whole long, ugly link into that line, and I'm going to click on the Apply button. And so now, look how much more clean and orderly that looks. So if you're kind of a fanatic about a tidy little communication, this creating of a link looks much cleaner than putting that big long 100 character URL in there. So that process that I showed you where you highlight the text, click on the link button, paste in the URL, and use those on-screen prompts is pretty universal. So I showed you how to do that within a Google Doc. It's going to be the same in an email. It's going to be the same on your website page that you're editing. It's going to be the same on any other Google document. So that's a pretty standard procedure. So a pretty transferable skill right there. Okay, so if you're sending a communication to someone, consider adding a link right within your communication. But sometimes you won't know your audience of specifically who you want to send this to. So for example, if you have a newsletter for your class and you just want parents to be able to find that newsletter, you might not have all the emails of your parents. So maybe instead it's a link on your website that you would create. Or you may even want to provide a shortened URL where maybe you have it displayed and you just want them to be able to remember it and type it into their own web browser. So if you had a poster in your classroom to go to your class newsletters or to go to your class website or what have you, there is no way that you are going to post that big long URL and expect that parents or kiddos or whomever is visiting your classroom to be able to type that in. So what we're going to use next is a URL shortener. And there are a couple great options out there. The first one I'm going to show you is a Google product. It's goo.gl. And so if you go to goo.gl, you can right click and paste your URL in there, same thing you did in the Google Doc that we were just in. And then you click on the shorten URL button. So what it did was it takes the big long URL, which you can still see down here, ugh, what a nightmare, and makes it into this really manageable short link. This is much more possible for people to type in if they're standing in front of a poster or if they're looking to get to links for slides that you're presenting or anything like that. I use a URL shortener on a pretty regular basis. And so goo.gl is the one I'm showing you right now. But the other one I like is tiny.cc. It is not a Google product. But what I like about tiny.cc that is different, again, I'm going to paste my URL in there, is I can create a custom ending to my URL. So it's all going to start with tiny.cc/, and then I can pick my ending. So I'm just going to type in pick my ending, pick my ending, and then you click on the tiny button, and as long as no one else has taken that one, then you can use that one. The pro of this is that you get to pick your URL ending, so sometimes it's really a lot easier for someone to type in words that make sense in their head, as opposed to over here on my URL shortener with goo.gl, it's still a weird combination of letters and numbers. The con for tiny.cc and other similar URL shorteners is that I have one calendar year to use that, and then it goes, it stops linking there. I can go back in a year and reset it up, but if someone snags it in the meantime, then I'm kind of out of luck. And I've got my poster printed or my business card or, whatever. So if you think it's going to be a really popular site for whatever your purpose is, you may want to go with something a little bit more permanent. But this is a great go-to. I use this all the time when I want people to have access to slides that I'm presenting, or a newsletter, or a link to a website and I'm putting it on a poster. So I use tinyURL lots and lots. And then the other option that you have, and actually this appears in both the goo.gl shortener and on tiny.cc, is the option, and I'm going to click on these triple dots here, and I'm going to find it, the option to create a QR code. So if you are not familiar with the QR code, this is what it looks like. It is always a random assortment of the black and white little boxes, and I can save that picture. I can put that picture on something I'm distributing, like a flyer or a spot in my room. I can link kids who can scan this QR code to directions or an informational video or what have you. You could create a walking tour through your building with the QR code and let parents and students zap with a reader. And so if you're not familiar with QR codes, you can get free QR code readers for any smartphone. They're in app stores readily available. So some people do really like to use QR codes. You've probably noticed them on a lot of products that you've purchased, and you can create them for yourself as well. So I found that QR code under the goo.gl shortener by hovering over the link I had shortened and going to the triple dots. Here it is. And then over here on tiny.cc, it's hidden right below where I had clicked tiny, and then it spat out my new URL. If I click on get QR, it takes me to a new page where again I can find that image. I can save that image, I can print that image, I can copy and paste it onto something I want people to be able to scan. And so between getting that URL, creating a link in your communication, or using a URL shortener, I hope that creates some great pathways for you to take a resource and get it out to the people who you want to consume it. I play around with that. If you have another great way that you get links out to people, I'd love to hear about that. There are many ways to get this done, and I wanted to share with you a few of my favorites. Have a great day, and tune in next time for episode 8 of Tech Try While Your Nails Dry. P.S. Can you see my little sidekick over here in the background? I bribe her with iPad time whenever I want to make a tutorial.